Here's a theme week idea. Top 5 supergroups. Yeah, there'd be some great names on there. Transatlantic would be one that comes to mind, but I think you might actually have to add this next band to that list already, and they're only one album into their career. Whenever you think about the supergroup, you think about a culmination of multiple member styles into one big collective pot. Either that or they attempt to do something that's completely different and independent, and their mutual abilities really culminate to create something pretty magical. Kill or Be Killed. Yeah, we need to talk about this group. This is a group that's gotten a lot of attention. They've gotten a lot of attention for the past couple of months for a couple of singles that they've had swirling around the net, kind of announcing and heralding their arrival. This is a supergroup that includes members from Mastodon, Troy, Max Cavalera, of course, of Sepultura and Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy, different projects like that. We have the lead singer Greg from Dillinger Escape Plan, and we have the former drummer from the Mars Volta, may they rest in peace. Wow. The culmination of those four, that brings together a whole mess of styles, everything from hardcore punk all the way to the progressive universe. So what's the result going to be for this album, for this 11-track affair that's coming? This sounds like, conceptually it should be a mess. Quite the opposite. So yeah, that already kind of harbinges some pretty good ideas and some good vibes toward this album. But immediately whenever you start to listen to this, you start to note a number of different things. Firstly, everybody except for Dave has a vocal responsibility on this album and is represented. So you'll hear vocals from Troy in that Mastodon tone that he uses. It's very, very low, but not quite gluttural. You hear Max, and if you don't know Max's voice by now, listen to basically everything he's ever done, and it'll become rather apparent. And then you have the insanity of Greg and Dillinger Escape Plan. And it all comes together somehow. And it works somehow. In fact, it works really damn well. Groove metal, thrash metal, hints of prog, hints of hardcore punk. Prog is kind of a subtle understatement. It's something that's really more so in some of the song structures, having multiple portions to them that have transitional elements. So really, we're just going by the core definition of the term, not actually labeling it as such. But whenever you consider those three ideas, they're three ideas that should come together nicely. Think about groove metal. What's one of the most popular groove metal bands? Pantera. Think about hardcore punk. The names could just rattle off and on, and you could immediately go with bands such as Black Flag, which is actually one of the very first things that Greg ever did for the Dillinger Escape Plan was a Black Flag cover. And then consider, thrash metal. And I really don't think we need an explanation there. This 11-track album is able to really encompass all of these different styles, but also do so in a way that really represents each band member's former projects very, very nicely. You hear some of the melody and some of the real songwriting chops that Mastodon has intermixing with something from, say, Sepultura, either that or the Dillinger Escape Plan, and the insanity that actually brews from that really becomes collectively pretty fantastic. Consider some of the direct riffs that you hear on songs such as Melting of My Marrow, either that or Snakes of Jehovah, and man, it's got a direct punch-you-in-the-balls real influence to it. And it's something that blends together so nicely that this is kind of what a supergroup should be all about. It should be taking all of the relative strengths that you have as a musician, being at your position, either that or something that you're already naturally doing as a member of your band, and really just adding on to it, giving it a different dynamic. Perhaps instead of being completely and totally insane, Greg, maybe there's some cleans in there. Instead of being focused primarily on cleans, Troy, maybe it's something where you have a little bit more of a harsh tone. And Max is just dancing everywhere. Let's face it. Max is able to do just about everything possible in order to give this a nice sinister snarl to it. Something that was already present, but something that's only amplified. So already on a vocal helm, you have three individuals that really are very spirited in this profession. Three people that, whether it be as a backing vocal, either that or as a primary vocal, have certainly showcased their abilities in the past. And now they're molding together with, their own musical chops in order to create something that has even more depth and even more dynamisy to it. Really giving it a rhythm and a subtlety all its own. But that subtlety, it's a very small subtlety. Because this is something that's right there in your face. Something that's exceptionally direct, very politically driven. Something that has a mass appeal. It's that anger that you perhaps don't hear in music just as much as you used to. It's that rebellion that perhaps is forced as opposed to becoming natural. Something that for these guys, and for this group, seems to be coming and bleeding naturally, as opposed to being forced. This album really showcases its diversity. It's something that you see from track to track. It's something that isn't necessarily present on just a couple here and there, and then it kind of retains itself by a happy medium with the rest of the album. This is instead something that literally from track to track you can experience some seismic change. Whether it be a song such as Save the Robots, which may actually be the closest incorporation to something the Mars Volta would write until it launches into its aggression. A song such as Forbidden Fire, which really showcases the band's ability to do something really creative and different on the final track. Or a song that's in your face, such as Fire to Your Flag, which basically sounds like it deserves to be on a hardcore punk album. But these are guys that seriously could probably do that. Whenever you listen to this disc, and whenever you consider the different, styles and subgenres that are embroiled within, you start to note that this band could easily just be one of those, and it would still be damn good. The fact that it actually possesses some particles from each is what actually puts it over the top. It's what makes it great. It's what makes it a transformative album. It's what makes it a terrific supergroup experiment with a project album that is going to be, and should be, a legitimate success. Now sure, you're not seeing guys in this band from Avenged Sevenfold. You're not seeing guys in this band from any of the other bands that are teeny popular right now, where you see anybody of the 14 to 16-year-old age group wearing their t-shirt, perhaps just because it looks cool or because Hot Topic was running a sale. Now these are 4 guys from established acts, bands that perhaps are right now purchased by a larger minority than others, but still by a minority. But this collective project, this supergroup, this is one where all 4 subsections, all 4 fan bases need to come out and really represent themselves high. Because damn, this is a direct assault. This is something that really not only motivates an individual, but could drive them to actually want to do more. It could pump them up, accelerate their heartbeat, make them angry, make them mad, make them want more, make them want change. I really love this album. This album has a great tone to it. Its resonance is also something that echoes long after it's finished. And the flow to it, for something that you would think would be a proverbial 4-band clusterfuck, the flow is actually one of the most exquisite portions that this album has to offer. Principally because it's not damaged by the fact that these are 4 people from truly unique and different backgrounds. But instead, it's harnessed by the fact that these 4 individuals came together and actually made the background for Killer Be Killed be that of Killer Be Killed, as opposed to being that of Mastodon, the Mars Volta, Soulfly, or Sepultura, and the Dillinger Escape Plan. These are 4 groups that came together and actually formed something that is largely independent and fiercely original. And I have to give them a lot of credit for what they've done. Considering some of the supergroups that we've heard of and seen in the past, or side projects, I'm looking at you, Device, that basically have just done the same thing that was expected of them. Either that, or have made minor tweaks and deviations, and maybe have done something slightly original to put them a cut above the rest. This is a band that actually did the supergroup idea correctly. They brought their mutual backgrounds together in order to forge something that is not only completely original and fiercely, fiercely driven, but also something that really begs for more material to happen. This is a project that I hope continues to go on, and I think you guys will really feel the same way. 91 out of 100. Damn, that's one of the best scores we've given all year. But it's deserving. Now you would think that a supergroup perhaps would have a bit of an edge in that department. Having 4 individuals pre-established definitely doesn't hurt. But they actually made the most of it. What did you guys think of Killer Be Killed? What do you guys think of this project? What do you think of their individual bands? Let me know in the comments. I'm not sure who's going to follow this up, but they have a heavy, heavy, heavy task ahead of them, because this was pretty damn awesome.